E-Class, the original, not the 2019 version, is a very interesting car. So naturally, I'm not going to talk about it. Today, at least. I will make a video on the future. I really like it, actually. I thought it was a very strange vehicle. I'm not going to get into all that now, because that's not the car we're talking about, right? But this car is all about functionality, right? It has that, like, drop-off in the back so that you can cram stuff in there, a second row of seating, a very comfortable, cheap interior. You know, this was Mercedes trying to make a cheaper car for once, right? Instead of being the ultra-luxury brand, they just tried to chill out for a while and make some sort of economy car. You know, what Mercedes thought to be an economy car. So that was this. I actually thought it was a very good take. Very good. I love it. Great amount of cargo space for a car this small. I love that little drop-off hood. It's like a minivan, you know? Like, when your kid draws a minivan and it's like, ugh, what shape is that? It's like this. It's a minivan, you know, like a regular car merged with a bus, but still the shape of it, you know what I mean? It's just so strange and a little cute, and it looks like a little mouse. Anyway, imagine merging that with a Tesla. So Teslas are electric and Teslas are luxury, so is Mercedes. Now, in EV Mercedes, we've definitely seen that before. I mean, the EQS, right? They're currently selling this. We've definitely seen an electric Mercedes before. So if I'm making a video on an electric Mercedes, you know that I hate the screens, and that, you know, Mercedes is a good luxury brand. Kind of. I feel like, God forbid, Volvo or Lexus have better interior quality that doesn't creak, better engines. If I wanted to buy a luxury car, I'd buy a Lexus. If I wanted a wagon, I'd buy a Volvo. That's just who I am. I don't like the screens. I think that's all stupid garbage. So, you know, Mercedes, it's not that I have an issue with their engineering or the reliability of their cars. Their design just isn't for me, you know. Well, also, the plasticky interior also isn't for me, because I like good things. So, essentially, imagine taking this weird, gigantic SUV, no, this weird, gigantic, long, inch ground clearance sedan, merging it with the functionality of the A-Class and making it a family car like the Toyota Venza. I know I've made a video on this Move Over Camry that was a very good, interesting video. It actually got a lot of views. I'm surprised. So, yeah. Imagine doing that, right? An EV Venza, right? It should have about 80 to 90 miles of range. Huh, that's right. So, in 2015, there was a Mercedes called the B-Class, right? It was this bigger Mercedes. It did not have a third row, and it was essentially Mercedes's family vehicle, right? The Sprinter was usually too big. You know, like, again, a minivan. You want the functionality. It's technically a hatchback, right? So, essentially, when people were growing up in the thousands, you know, me, when people were growing up in the thousands, their parents had minivans, right? Just your standard run-of-the-mill Toyota Sienna, Honda Odyssey, you know, just stuff like that. So, right, people nowadays, right, they usually don't want to drive their parents' vehicles. But when that generation had kids, they started realizing, oh, wait a minute, minivans are actually very good. It's just because you can haul more things in them, right? You can fit more stuff in them. They're just easier. They're just the family vehicle. And you can get them in all-wheel drive if you need it. Now, as you know, I hate EVs, and also I love EVs. I love the EV concept. I think it's great. I hate how weird they are. I think that's all useless, stupid garbage. Like, not having any turn signal stocks, that's stupid. Not the big screens, that's all stupid. The interior, that's all stupid garbage. You know, that's just... EVs are weird. I think maybe if Coda succeeded and Tesla didn't, EVs would be very different. As you know, I like the e-Golf. This is quite possibly one of the most normal EVs ever. Now, it is a Mercedes, although it is toned down a bit. It's not like 360 screens like we've seen in the newer Mercedes models. Come on, don't tell me this wouldn't be a perfect family vehicle. Now, a lot of people like to look over Mercedes when they're looking for a family vehicle. You know, they don't really want something unreliable. And I get that from a standpoint. You know, from luxury brands, it's either like Lexus, where they argue, we're luxury, we should be good, or it's like more German brands who say, well, if you're paying this much, you can afford to maintain it. You know what I mean? So, like, Lexus has protection in there if you don't really take care of your car all that well. It'll keep running, right? Mercedes is very particular about how their cars are cared for, and I don't blame them, honestly. I mean, if you're not going to take care of the car, screw you. Don't buy a car, you know? Anyway, I still think that extra reliability of Toyota and Lexus is good. But if you maintain this, It will be fine. It will not be unreliable. It will be a fine, perfect car. And for $12,000 for a 2015 Mercedes, that's very, very good. It's also an EV, which means it's perfect, which means you get that EV tax credit up to $4,000 if both car and buyer qualify. Now, right, miles per gallon equivalent MPGe would be 85, 82 highway, very good miles, right? And then you have 87 miles of range when new. So essentially, I'm expecting it to lose about maybe 20 miles, maybe just down to 60, maybe, in that time that someone's owned it, right? But again, if you're only paying 20, let me just give you the situation, right? So if you look at this at the baseline, you may say 87 miles is bad when it was new. Now it's probably degraded 20 miles less than that, or the battery's dead, since these batteries only last about 5 to 9 years. And yeah. So why would I buy it? First of all, it's only $12,000, which is an amazing price for a car from 2015, much less the luxury of a Mercedes. I may not buy a luxury car, especially not a Mercedes, but they are luxurious. I mean, we don't have to hide about that. Now, it does have 56K miles on it, which isn't bad. That's a pretty good amount driven. With that 12 grand, you could probably sneak, like, this car, this is a example where how much is it worth to you, right? Do you want an EV family carrier? Because, I mean, if you look at it, it's perfect. All the doors are perfect. You know, you've got all the space you need. It's just luxurious enough where you can drive with your partially digital gauge cluster, wrap your hands around the leather-wrapped steering wheel, and it's just a good car to drive, right? And it's also, like, good enough, but also durable enough to, if your kid throws a fit and starts kicking the dashboard, the airbag won't explode in their face. It's a good, reliable luxury car. So while the value of this car may not be great at $12,000 to $17,000, around there for this year, what is it worth to you, right? Would you rather buy something else? Because, again, we're not seeing a lot of EV family cars. They're usually just, Tesla things for content creators. Ugh. We're not seeing a lot of family EVs. So if you want a family EV, the question is what it's worth to you. Like, your child's teddy bear. That's worth like $1 million to them, even though it's just 20 cents from the grocery store. You know what I mean? So this thing is technically only worth $12,000 to $15,000. But I think if you put an extra 7-10 grand into the battery, that can last you a really long time, maybe even 100, 200,000 miles. And that'd be great, right? Because, again, this is something you can't do for gas cars. They're so complicated and so intricate that once they hit like 300,000 miles, yes, you can replace enough parts to where it's like new, but I mean, so much stuff starts happening. With EVs, as long as you replace the battery, and the battery's what goes, right? As long as the motor doesn't burn out and the frame isn't rusted, that car will go on forever. You can have an infinity car if you never drive on salty or wet roads, ever. Or ever use the motor, The batteries are pretty much the only thing that goes bad on these EVs because they're just so amazingly simple. So if you get a new battery on this car, the question is, buying a $12,000 2015 Mercedes and putting a new $10,000 battery on it, is that worth it for you, right? Do you actually want to drive this, family car, right? Because if you don't and you just, you don't want it, then that's fine, right? So let's just go over a little bit of the photos. So this is your driving position, very, very nice. You can see your partially digital gauge cluster up there, your thing EV crap over there, your speed, just classic Mercedes, Then you have your little screen. Oh, I miss these little screens. They were so amazing. Remember when screens weren't the entire dashboard? Yeah, I do. And then there's radio on, just very nice. You can see the shifter, your Prindle shifter, just pretty standard normal stuff. Your like Volkswagen-esque thing there, and look at that. I mean, come on. This is really where the family car, I call it the family car, like the Toyota Venza shines. You can't get that out of the family Camry. It's got minivan storage, just sacrificing the third row. And also there's a difference. Like something like the Honda Fit. Yes, I praise that vehicle a lot, but it's not really a family vehicle. It's more it depends on where you are. If you have like one kid and that's it, fine, the Honda Fit's perfect. But, like, these are if you have a bigger family and you need to haul more crap, because they're just perfect at it, you know? They shine over the Camry, and they shine over the minivan. It's just like a minivan without the third row, so no limitations. They just cut that little strip out with the third row in it, push it all back together right there-esque, and then, boom, you've got more trunk space. So this is amazing, and I'm very happy Mercedes, because out of all the car companies, I was watching very closely, out of all the car companies I expected to make something like this, I knew it was going to be Toyota. By the way, that doesn't matter. It's the roof. Come on. Out of all the vehicles, out of all the car brands that I expected to be in this market and make something like this, Mercedes was not one of them. I was very surprised when this thing came out to see Mercedes make a vehicle that was an electric family car. And I think that says a lot just about how much potential EVs have. So, with that, thank you for watching. Don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe, right? Because, I love making videos. And hopefully you like watching my content. So, yeah, I really like this vehicle. And I think I'm trying to cover more EVs. Now, I'm not becoming an EV channel. Trust me, I'm not. I still like gas cars. I like hybrids even more than that. I just think... I don't think I was being too rough on EVs. I think most of it is stupid garbage, and I think I am right, like every human does, but about themselves, naturally. But I do think that EVs are good, right? I think that the concept of EVs are good. I think that the way that they're portrayed is bad. Like, I think that this is ugly and ridiculous, so are Teslas, and inexpensive, And an inexpensive EV like this, it's perfect, right? I mean, look at how much space you have back there. It's like the perfect family vehicle. And like I said before, I will say, right, the Mercedes-Benz B-Class is weird, right? Because usually you'll see the average family have, like, the family hauler, the minivan, the, whatever you want, the Sienna, the Highlander. That's, like, the family vehicle. And then you either have a small sedan, like the Camry, so that dad can drive to work or something, or so that mom can drive to work. And then you have, like I said, the big vehicle, the family vehicle, and then the small little one that just carries the kids to school, And that's where I think EVs really shine, in the little category. But I think this vehicle really proves that EVs can be bigger and they can be better. Because let me tell you, this thing can hold so much. I would rather have this rather than a brand new Tesla, because I don't care about speed, I care about efficiency. This thing's ultra efficient like most EVs are, and they can hold a lot of crap. All the better. So with that, thank you for watching. Don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe. I know I've said that twice now, but, let me bloat. And, yeah, I just think that EVs can be good if people make good EVs. Wow, that point really sucked.